I never thought my life would come to this, standing in front of a mirror, staring at a reflection that looked nothing like me, and yet felt like a part of me I had kept buried for years. My name is Alex, 22 years old, an ordinary college student trying to balance part-time work, studies, and a relationship with Emma, my girlfriend of 2 years. But behind the layers of assignments, coffee-fueled nights, and long walks with Emma, there was something else, something I never told anyone. It all began in the quiet shadows of my sister Claire's room. She was older than me by just a year, but in every way that mattered, she seemed light years ahead. Confident, graceful, always dressed with a style that turned heads. Her room was forbidden territory, or at least that's what she made it seem. But sometimes, when she was out and the house felt too silent, I found myself drawn to it. The colors, the scents, the soft fabrics that hung neatly in her closet. They whispered things to me I couldn't explain. Touching one of her dresses, feeling the silky texture between my fingers, I would close my eyes and imagine what it would feel like to wear it. The thought scared me, thrilled me, and left me with a guilt I didn't understand. I wasn't a crossdresser out of passion. Not at first. It was more like curiosity had led me into a dangerous game, one I didn't know the rules of. And yet, every time I slipped into one of Claire's skirts or tried on her lipstick in secret, something inside me lit up. A piece of me I didn't show the world was alive in those moments. But I wasn't alone in my life. Emma, my girlfriend, was everything a guy like me could hope for. She was warm, affectionate, and sharp enough to see through most of my lies, which made my secret all the more terrifying. She liked me for who she thought I was, straightforward, dependable, maybe a little awkward. But if she ever caught me in one of Claire's dresses, if she ever knew about the hidden part of me, I wasn't sure she'd stick around. The story takes place in a modest suburban house, tucked away in a quiet neighborhood where everyone pretended not to notice each other's flaws. Our home wasn't fancy, but it carried the weight of memories, family dinners, arguments echoing down the hall, and the constant hum of life between siblings who pretended they didn't know each other's secrets. The mood, at least in the beginning, was calm. Almost deceptively calm, like the stillness of a lake before the storm hits. On most evenings, I found myself caught between two worlds. Emma would text me, asking if I wanted to come over for dinner, while Claire's empty room across the hall seemed to call to me with its silent temptation. It was like walking a tightrope between desire and disaster. Emma was patient, but I knew she wanted more from me. More openness, more trust. Sometimes I wondered if she sensed the walls I built around myself. She'd look at me with those searching eyes, asking, "Is there something you're not telling me?" And I'd smile, shake my head, and pretend I was fine. But my heart always raced, fearing the day she'd find out the truth. What I didn't know then was that Claire had a secret of her own. A secret so dangerous, so complicated, that when it finally collided with mine, it would trap me in a life I never expected. It started innocently enough, the way secrets always do. One night, when Claire was away, I slipped into her room again. The soft glow of her vanity lights cast a golden halo across the mirror. My hands trembled as I reached for one of her blouses, then a skirt that matched. Dressing up felt like crossing a line I couldn't uncross. My heart pounded, my reflection both foreign and intoxicating. I sat down at her vanity, staring at the little tubes of lipstick, the brushes lined neatly in jars, the foundations and powders I didn't know how to use properly. My hand hovered over a shade of red lipstick, her favorite. With a deep breath, I twisted it open and traced it across my lips. The sensation was electric. My reflection transformed, piece by piece, into someone I didn't recognize but desperately wanted to know. But then my phone buzzed. It was Emma. "Hey, are you free? I might stop by tonight." My stomach dropped. The thrill drained into sheer panic. If Emma came and found me like this, everything would be over. I scrambled to wipe the lipstick off, tearing the blouse over my head, nearly ripping the delicate fabric. My pulse thundered in my ears as I shoved everything back into place. That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't sleep. Every shadow in the room seemed heavier, every creak of the house sharper. I kept replaying the near miss in my head. The thrill of being so close to discovery mixed with the fear of losing everything. What I didn't realize was that someone else had already noticed. Claire had been watching me. Maybe not directly, but she knew. She always knew. And the secret she held in her hands would soon become my undoing. Because my sister's secret wasn't just hers. It was about to become mine. And once it did, there would be no going back. I thought I had buried that night. The night Emma almost caught me wearing my sister's clothes should have been enough to scare me straight, but the truth is, it only made the pull stronger. Every day afterward, I found myself sneaking back into Claire's room. At first, I told myself it was just a look to remind myself how dangerous it was. But temptation doesn't just sit quietly in the corner of your mind. It whispers. It lures. It convinces you that maybe, just maybe, you can control it. I started small, a swipe of her lip gloss, slipping into a skirt for just a few minutes before tossing it back into her closet. But then one evening, I went further. I put together a full outfit, her fitted blouse, a pencil skirt, stockings, even the wig I found tucked away in the back of her wardrobe. The moment I saw myself fully dressed, my heart nearly stopped. The mirror didn't show Alex anymore. It showed someone else, softer, more delicate, with lips painted red and eyes that glittered under mascara. I touched the glass, fingertips trembling, and whispered the thought I didn't dare say out loud. She looks real. That was the first time I truly felt the transformation. The clothes weren't just fabric, they were armor and new skin. Walking in her heels made me stumble, but each wobbling step sent a rush through me, like electricity humming beneath my skin. For those fleeting moments, I wasn't myself. I was free, but freedom comes at a price. That night, while I was still dressed, I heard the sound that froze me cold. Claire's footsteps in the hallway. She wasn't supposed to be home. I scrambled to shut the closet door, to grab the wig and peel off the skirt, but it was too late. The doorknob turned and she walked in. Her eyes went wide, then narrowed in disbelief. "Alex, what the hell are you doing?" I stood there, frozen, my lipstick smudged, my legs trembling in her stockings. My mouth opened, but no words came out. Shame wrapped around my throat like a noose. For a long moment, she just stared at me. Then, instead of screaming, instead of running to tell Mom or Emma or anyone else, she closed the door behind her and crossed her arms. "You've been in my things," she said flatly. I nodded, unable to deny it. Her gaze softened, but only slightly. "Do you have any idea what you've gotten yourself into?" Her words confused me. It wasn't just about the clothes. There was something in her tone, something that hinted at a deeper danger. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at me like she was weighing a decision. "Finally," she sighed. "If you want to play dress up, that's your business. But you picked the wrong closet to raid." I blinked, not understanding. "What do you mean?" She leaned in, her voice low, urgent. "Some of the things in here, they're not just mine. They're part of something bigger. Something you can't afford to get caught up in." Her words sent a chill through me. I didn't know what she meant, but I could tell from the way her hands trembled that it wasn't just about fashion. Claire had a secret, one she'd been guarding closely, and now I had stumbled right into the middle of it. "Promise me," she said, gripping my wrist, "you'll stop going through my things. Promise me, Alex." I swallowed hard. I promise. But promises are easier to make than to keep. The following days felt like walking on glass. Claire watched me differently now, her eyes sharp whenever we crossed paths in the hallway. Emma noticed too. She'd ask subtle questions, little probes into my behavior. "Why were you late yesterday?" Or, "Why do you seem distracted lately?" Each question was a blade cutting into my carefully woven lies. And yet, the pull didn't fade. One weekend, when Claire was away, I couldn't resist. I locked myself in her room again. This time, I didn't just dress. I transformed. I laid everything out methodically. Foundation, blush, eyeliner, mascara. I searched tutorials on my phone, mimicking the steps with shaky hands until the face in the mirror began to resemble hers. My sister. The resemblance startled me. With the wig on, my lips painted red, I could have been her reflection. My breath caught in my throat. It wasn't just crossdressing anymore, it was becoming Claire. As I stood there, adjusting the skirt around my waist, a horrifying thought crossed my mind. What if Emma saw me like this? What if she thought I was Claire? The idea sent both fear and an odd thrill coursing through me. But then came the sound that made my blood run cold again. A car pulling into the driveway. Claire's car. My body went rigid. I scrambled to clean up, wiping lipstick off my face, tearing the wig off my head. But the process took too long. By the time I stuffed the clothes back in her closet, I heard her footsteps in the hall again. She opened the door slowly, and this time, she didn't look surprised. She looked resigned. "I told you not to do this," she said, her voice sharp. "Do you have any idea what's at stake?" I stammered. "I am sorry, I just—" No, her eyes blazed with something I had never seen before, fear. "You don't understand. If anyone finds out, if Emma finds out, it's not just your secret on the line. It's mine too." That was when she told me. Not everything, not yet, but enough to make my head spin. She was involved in something risky, something that required her to maintain a certain identity, an image she couldn't afford to lose. If word got out that her twin brother had been sneaking into her clothes, people might start asking questions. Questions she couldn't afford to answer. And then she said the words that changed everything. "If you want to keep your secret safe, you're going to help me keep mine. From now on, when I say so, you'll live as me, as my twin." My heart nearly stopped.
"What?"
"No, I can't. You already look like me," she interrupted coldly. "You've been practicing without even realizing it. Makeup, clothes, the way you walk. You can do it. And you will." Her demand hit me like a thunderclap. What had started as a private thrill, a guilty pleasure, had now twisted into something much darker. That night, lying awake in bed, I realized the truth. My sister's secret wasn't just a shadow lurking at the edges of my life anymore. It had swallowed me whole. And Emma, sweet, loving Emma, was starting to sense the cracks. She texted me late. "I feel like you're hiding something. Please don't shut me out." I stared at the screen, torn apart inside. She deserved honesty. But how could I tell her that every time she kissed me goodnight, I was haunted by the ghost of another reflection, the one in Claire's mirror, wearing her smile. The lines between us were starting to blur. And the more I tried to pull away, the deeper I sank. The first time Claire forced me to step out of the house dressed as her, I thought I would collapse from sheer terror. It wasn't just about the clothes anymore. It was about walking in her skin, borrowing her life for a night. She shoved a dress into my hands, one of her more modest ones, and said flatly, "You're going to a dinner for me. No arguments."
My throat went dry.
"Claire, I can't." "You can." She cut me off, her eyes burning with urgency. "And you will. Unless you want Emma, or Mom, or everyone else to know what you've been doing." The threat clamped down like a steel trap. With shaking hands, I dressed, slipping into the black dress, fastening the heels, adjusting the wig until it sat snugly. Claire did my makeup this time, her hands surprisingly steady as she transformed me into herself. When I looked in the mirror, my breath caught. She had done it. I wasn't Alex anymore. I was Claire's twin. The dinner was a blur of lights, voices, and stares. Every step I took felt like it could be the one that exposed me. People greeted me as Claire, smiling, chatting, asking casual questions. I nodded, laughed when expected, but inside, I was drowning. Every time someone looked me in the eye, I thought, they know. They can see through me. But they didn't. Somehow, I pulled it off. And when we got home, Claire smirked, satisfied.
"See?
You were perfect."
Perfect."
The word echoed in my head, both intoxicating and terrifying. From then on, it became a pattern. Small errands, a meeting, even a casual coffee with her friends. Each time, she dressed me, molded me, and sent me out into the world as her. And each time I got better at it. The way I walked, the way I spoke, even the way I tilted my head when I laughed. But with each success, the danger grew. One evening, I was in full transformation, sitting at Claire's vanity while she finished fixing my eyeliner, when the knock came.
Sharp.
Unexpected. Both of us froze. "Who is it?" Claire whispered. I shook my head, panic flooding me. The knock came again, followed by a familiar voice. "Emma's." "Hey. I thought I'd surprise you." My heart plummeted.
Emma.
"Here."
Now.
Claire's eyes went wide. She mouthed, "Hide." I scrambled, nearly tripping in the heels, but there was nowhere to go. The room was too small, the makeup too fresh on my face. If Emma walked in, it was over. Claire yanked open the door just enough to slip out into the hall. "Emma, what are you doing here?" she said with forced cheer. "I was in the neighborhood," Emma's voice replied. "Thought I'd stop by." "Is Alex here?" I pressed my back against the wall, shaking, lipstick smudged against my trembling lips. Claire hesitated just a fraction too long. "No, he's not here right now." Emma laughed lightly. "That's strange. He wasn't answering my texts." Their voices drifted further away as Claire pulled her toward the living room, buying me precious seconds. I tore off the wig, wiped at the makeup with frantic hands, but it was useless. The eyeliner smeared, the lipstick stained. I looked like a ghost caught between two lives. Then came the moment that made my blood freeze. I heard Emma say, "You know, sometimes I feel like Alex is hiding something from me. Like something big. Has he told you anything?" Silence. A long, dangerous silence. Claire finally replied, her tone careful. "If he hasn't told you, maybe it's not your place to know yet." My knees buckled. Claire was protecting me, but at the same time, her words dangled the truth just out of Emma's reach. When Emma finally left, I collapsed into Claire's chair, the wig still clutched in my hands. Claire came back into the room, eyes sharp. "That was close," she said. "Too close. If you're going to keep this up, you need to be better. You need to be flawless." Flawless. The word twisted in my chest. I wasn't sure if I was afraid, or if part of me wanted to live up to it. The days blurred into weeks. I lived two lives now. Alex with Emma, fumbling through half-truths and excuses, and Claire's shadow, wearing her clothes, her smile, her identity. But the walls were closing in. Emma grew more suspicious. She'd brush her fingers against my hands and paws, as if noticing something different. She'd kiss me and pull back slightly, her eyes narrowing. "You taste like lipstick," she said once, and I nearly choked on my breath. And then came the symbolic moment, the night it all almost unraveled. Claire had sent me to a small gathering with her friends. I played the part perfectly, laughing, chatting, even dancing lightly in her heels. But then, in the middle of it all, disaster struck. The strap of my dress slipped off my shoulder. A harmless detail, unless you were me, terrified that the illusion could crack at any moment. As I reached to fix it, the wig shifted slightly, threatening to fall. In that second, I saw myself reflected in a mirror across the room. Half of me still Claire, elegant and composed. The other half trembling, the mask slipping. Two lives staring back at me, colliding. I yanked the strap back up, adjusted the wig, forced a smile. But the image in the mirror lingered in my mind long after.
Who was I really?
Alex? Or the twin my sister had made me become? When I returned home that night, Emma was waiting for me outside. Her arms folded, her expression unreadable. "Alex," she said softly. "Where were you?" The question cut deeper than it should have. And as I stood there, makeup still faintly clinging to my skin, the taste of Claire's lipstick still on my lips, I knew this was the beginning of the end. Because secrets never stay hidden forever. And mine was unraveling faster than I could hold it together. The night Emma confronted me outside still burns in my memory. The streetlights cast a pale glow over her face, making her eyes look sharper than usual. She didn't smile, didn't soften her tone. "Where were you, Alex?" she repeated, her arms crossed, her foot tapping slightly against the pavement. I swallowed hard, every excuse I had rehearsed vanishing from my mind. I was just out," I stammered. Her eyes narrowed. "Out where? You've been distant, secretive." You don't answer my texts, you show up smelling like perfume I don't wear, and tonight you look different. Her gaze lingered on my lips. I licked them nervously, but that only made her frown deepen. You've been lying to me, she whispered. Not a question. A statement. My chest tightened, panic surging through me. She knew, maybe not everything, but enough. I opened my mouth, desperate to explain, when suddenly Claire appeared in the doorway behind me. Emma, Claire said smoothly, her voice calm, almost rehearsed. It's my fault. I dragged him out to help me with something tonight. Nothing shady, I promise. Emma looked between us, suspicion flaring in her eyes. Really? Then, why do I feel like the two of you are hiding something from me? The silence stretched, suffocating. I could feel my sister's eyes burning into me, warning me not to say a word. Emma's gaze, on the other hand, pleaded for honesty. Two worlds pulling me apart. I forced a laugh, weak and hollow. She's right, Em. I was just helping Claire out. That's all.
But Emma didn't buy it.
I could see it in her face. She stepped closer, her hand brushing against mine, her voice trembling now. Alex, please. Tell me the truth. Whatever it is, I can handle it. I just need to know you're not shutting me out. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I wanted to tell her everything. That I'd been living as my sister's twin, that I was drowning in secrets that weren't even mine, that every time she kissed me, she was kissing someone I wasn't sure existed anymore. But Claire's grip on my shoulder tightened, sharp as a warning. Not tonight, she said firmly. Emma's face hardened.
Fine.
But I'm not letting this go. If you won't tell me what's going on, I'll find out myself. With that, she turned and walked away, her footsteps echoing down the street. I stood frozen, my entire body shaking. Claire finally exhaled, her voice low. You need to get yourself together. She's getting too close. If she finds out, it's over for both of us. I spun on her, anger and desperation bubbling over. This is your fault. I never wanted this, Claire. You dragged me into your secret, and now I'm losing everything. Her expression turned cold. You think you can back out now? After everything you've done, after everything you've worn, after the people you fooled? No, Alex. You're in this until I say otherwise. The words hit me like chains snapping shut. That night, lying in bed, Emma's voice echoed in my head. Tell me the truth. I can handle it. And for the first time, I wondered if I even remembered what the truth was anymore. Was I Alex, the boyfriend Emma loved? Or was I the twin Claire had made me become? The line had blurred so much that when I looked in the mirror, I wasn't sure who was staring back. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a message from Emma. We need to talk. Tonight. No more secrets. My hands shook as I stared at the screen. Tonight, everything would either collapse or I'd be forced deeper into the lie than ever before. And as I reached up to touch my lips, still faintly stained with the memory of Claire's lipstick, a terrifying thought settled in my chest. Maybe. I didn't want the lie to end. Uncertainty swirls. Will Alex finally confess to Emma? Or will Claire tighten her grip and force him deeper into her dangerous secret? What would you do if you were in Alex's place? Would you confess to Emma? Or keep the secret to protect your sister? Comment below your prediction for part 2.